Grand Rising loves, this is the altar spread for the collective consciousness today. So the sacred geometry that showed up for today is infinity. And I love the explanation of infinity. Infinity means beyond measure. And so we tend to limit infinity by saying it's infinite. We name it and then we think we know, right? So when we say, oh, I know that, you really can never know what infinity is. You can't. It cannot be known. It's infinite. So beyond measure. It's even beyond knowing. So this card showing up is telling us that we need to awaken that part of ourselves, the unknowing part of us, the part that is still the explorer, the part that is still the child, the curious child, to say, I recognize that I am not this body, I am not this mind, but I am so much more than this. I am beyond measure. Yes, you are beyond measure. It's a beautiful card to show up because actually this whole spread, I'm very excited about it because this is showing that, and probably thanks to Mars retrograde, all of this fire energy is really starting to stir stuff up. So people are making necessary changes towards the better and bringing us to unity consciousness, because this spread is powerful. And so I'm very excited about this. The luminous warrior talks about our nature to be impeccable of word and deed. But it talks about the luminosity of our authentic self, how it casts no shadow, but that we have to actually recognize and focus on our own power and wisdom to attain that beauty, and that also bring the awareness of our intention, that our attention creates intention. So do not be seduced by the greed of the world and buy into that, because that if your attention becomes invested in that awareness, then your intention is poisoned by that awareness, if that makes sense. And so I love this because this spread came after a very powerful morning conversation that I had with a beautifully elevated divine masculine. And I love conversations with other elevated people, especially up on my level, which is rare, because it really stimulates my own expansion. And so I really feel that. I feel that I've been expanded this morning. And so when I expand, it creates space for the collective to also expand. And this spread is evident of that. And I love that. Usually the consciousness feels so dense to me. It feels like sandbags on a hot air balloon. It just feels like dead weight and anchor. And today it does feel lighter, and I do feel expanded. And this spread is evident of that. So I'm just like almost giddy. I can feel that bubbling up inside of my deeper spaces. So I'm really happy. But really what I want to reiterate with this, the luminous warrior, is that where your attention is, that's what creates your intent. Okay, so if you are in your head to create your attention, your intention is going to be born of that egoic space. But if you are in your feels and you stay connected and present, then your intent will be pure. And remember that pure is not that pristine concept that you were taught in religion. You know what? That was actually created to show you can't be this. Honest to God, it was meant to hold people down, to make you controllable and keep you easily controlled. But pure really just means that it doesn't come from a space of ego. It comes from a divine space of your authentic self, which is the heart. And so when it is created in that vibrational space, it is pure. That's all that means. And so a stone did not show up for today. It was the element for the stone. So any fire stone would be good to work with today. And so what fire is talking about is that you are about to enter a fire initiation, trial by fire. That sounds scary, right? But fire has been used since the dawn of man in sacred ceremony. Nothing can be touched by fire and not forever transformed. And so, as you see, even the landscape right now on Gaia, that this is what's been showing up. Fire is very intense. Mars is this fiery war planet, is in retrograde, but it's in retrograde in Aries, which is a fire sign. So there's this undercurrent of fire happening everywhere. And so this fire energy is really meant to transmute, to burn off anything that's no longer serving you, so that you can be transformed through that. And if you surrender in that, you will come out of that far better. And it will be more effortless instead of resisting. If you resist, it's going to be more intense and it's going to have scarring. But if you surrender in that, it's just going to burn off the layers that are holding you back. Now, Po'opono has showed up so much, and I love when this card shows up because I love opportunities to share that practice. And so the immeasurable power of the heart way. And I love also that this showed up because in our conversation this morning, I actually brought up Dr. Len. And I've been connecting with Dr. Len in the ether. And I would love to actually, in this embodiment, share a conversation with him. I am a very devoted practitioner of Ho'oponopono, and this is the practice of being 100% responsible for everything that shows up in your reality, and knowing that there is a part of you that has created that. And I no longer experience a lot of hardship in my reality, so I know that my work is beautiful, and it's actually writing the situations of my human experience. Though what I am hearing from my clients and those that I am closer to in work relationships, and that there is still a lot of turmoil and chaos. And so the point is to go to that deep space of the data, the subconscious that created that, and then become responsible for it. Meaning, and so we always think of you're responsible as such a dirty word, you know? It means assumption of guilt or shame. And that's why so many people, even if they've been trained in Ho'oponopono, can't adopt the practice or fully embody the role of practitioner because ego won't let them get out of that mindset. But the point is, responsibility just means, wow, I actually am empowered and I can take control of this. That's what responsibility is. And so when you get into that space of being responsible, when it shows up, even if it's something you think is not in you, it's there. It's showing up because you have it. And I've had people sitting in my healing space, and I've helped facilitate that realization with them, and they're shocked. Holy shit, I do have that.